okay, it's been a long time since I've actually made a video. So I figured this would be a good way to make a new one because Cobra Kai is so popular right now. Got interviews with Cobra Kai people coming up. Let's talk about that season three. Now, this is going to be some spoilers, but I'm assuming by now I waited a few weeks, so everybody should know what to expect. Or you should have seen the thing by now. So a lot of the question that everybody asks is why doesn't anyone ever call the cops on this show? Well, if they did, that would be one boring ass show. I mean, imagine a bunch of kids beat up a student and their parents call the police and they're arrested. There's no revenge, there's no big fight, there's no nothing. But everybody wanted to know two things. One, who did Kreese call at the end of season three? Okay, that's clearly obvious. It's Terry Silver. That's a video for another time. But the other question everybody asks is why didn't they just call the police on Kreese? That's because what I've been saying all along. Kreese is the sympathetic character of this show. Now let's think about this. In the beginning of season three, Ralph Macchio's skank wife, whose name I don't even remember, she goes and tells Kreese, you shouldn't be running the dojo and all this stuff, and she smacks him. He was just standing there. He had a towel around his neck. He was standing there. She went to his business after hours. She had no business being there. She was not trying to sign up to be no student. She went in there and physically assaulted him. Then she throws some big stink like, oh my God, he's crazy. He's got weapons on his wall. I've never been to a dojo that didn't have weapons. You train with weapons. So that's stupid. So then after she physically assaults him, she decides she's going to get a restraining order against him. Why? She's the provoker. I mean, when they found out when they went there, he had already filed a protection order against her. So let's keep that in mind. This crazy ass woman has a protection order against her. So what does she do? She says, okay, I'm going to get the landlord involved. So she goes to this greasy ass landlord and she's like, I tell you what, kick him out, say he can't be here no more. I'll pay you double a month what he's doing. This is a pandemic, folks. Small businesses are suffering on a daily basis. She's taking money out of this guy's pocket with underhanded stuff. And this sleazebag goes and gets a couple of muscle goons like, you better get out of here today. Your contract's terminated. Well, Kreese, who might I say is a war veteran for the United States of America, beats these guys silly, throws them out, says, look, this plan ain't working, baby. So then they find out because there's all this karate violence in this town that they're not going to do the All Valley tournament. So Johnny goes there and he goes there in his dirty jeans and t-shirt. And Ralph Macchio has a knockoff Ralph Lauren suit, obviously, but there's Kreese. And he's there and he comes and he says, hey, people, I want to tell you, I served our country proud. Martial arts helps train these kids. And Johnny and Daniel just start screaming. Danny's psycho wife starts yelling at him from the looks bad. So right now, what we have is people publicly insulting a man at a town council meeting in front of hundreds of witnesses. This crazy lady went to his place of business after hours and assaulted him. So there's a restraining order on her. And furthermore, they tried to get this guy kicked out of his dojo, taking away his right to make a living, hurting a small business in the midst of COVID-19. Now, everyone knows about this. It's documented. So at the end, when Daniel comes in once again, after hours, Kreese needs to learn how to lock his doors. He's just too trusting of a human being. So Daniel comes in, assaults John Kreese again. He had the fist drawn. He was ready to kill him. But then that fucking bag of yeast wife of his shows up with his fat daughter and like, no, don't do nothing. And that's when Kreese don't want to fight. He's like, let's settle this at the All Valley tournament. And Johnny being there, I'll get to that in a minute. But see right there, but he's like, well, why didn't Ralph Macchio call the cops? Because he's like, you sent people to my house. And he go, worst martial arts ever. And why? Why would he call the cops? If he called the cops, they'd laugh at him because Kreese wasn't there. Number two, there's already a history of bullying, deceit, and assault against Mr. John Kreese. Now that brings me to another thing. In Cobra Kai season one, Johnny says, "Hey, I'm gonna open up I'm gonna start training martial arts." He don't own the name. Just because you were a student somewhere, don't mean you own the name, the LLC, or the intellectual property rights of something. That would be like me saying, I watch WWE wrestling. I'm going to open up a school called WWE. You get your ass sued. So Kreese, he could have just sued this kid for opening up a school using the same. Not only did he steal the proud Cobra logo, he took the motto and put it on his wall. He had merchandise made because they had shirts in season two. So he's making money off something that's not his. John Kreese owns Cobra Kai along with Terry Silver because we found out in Karate Kid 3 Terry Silver was the financial backer for this. They own all this. And I'm sure, especially in the case of Terry Silver, who's a shrewd businessman or toxic oil dumper, I don't know, they never really said. Anyhow, he's got this shit copywritten, I apologize. I said I haven't done one of these in a while. Anyway, so when Kreese comes into the school at the end and Johnny, and they fight, Kreese could have just came in and went, cease and desist. I'm suing you. Could have done it, but no, he didn't. He says, as Johnny's a troubled kid, got a lot of mistakes, and I feel he probably felt bad for attacking Johnny at being a Karate Kid too, so he's trying to make it up to him. But Johnny didn't want to listen. The poor guy, he's proud. He says, hey, I went back to service and all. Well, it turns out he didn't. He wasn't allowed to go back in, and he was living in a homeless shelter. He said, my friend, I had to be Terry Silver again, offered him a position, but he didn't take charity. He was too proud. But then clearly he sees and hears about how his creation has been opened again and he's not getting any residual checks. So at the end, when he tells Johnny, beat it. This is my school. And Johnny leaves. Everybody's like, Johnny should have kicked his ass and taken the school back. He would have ended up in jail. So right here, we've got a dirty, no offensive, and because I have friends that sell cars, but he's Daniel and his wife, the shady ass used car salesman who history of assault on this man. The wife is clearly whacked out, needs to be on Prozac. This other guy, not only he's a sleazy car salesman, he's a bad car salesman because what he's doing is he's not even paying attention to the dealership. He's training a bunch of kids, making them fix up houses and shit, just like was done to him. So, he's obviously nuts in his own right. Johnny just some alcoholic, and I like him and he's a good friend to Miguel and all that, but he stole the guy's property, he stole the guy's name, he stole his motto, never wanted to pay him anything. And Kreese served the United States of America. You find that out in the flashbacks. He was kind of bullied. His girlfriend was killed in a car accident. His own commander turned on him, was going to murder him, and that's when Kreese said no mercy. And then he brings all this teaching back to help the bullied, troubled youth of Reseda or the Valley or whatever part of it changes, wherever part of they are, all Valley, I guess. They try to bring some honor and glory back. So I think I've answered. Number one, you can't call the cops on the guy because number one, that first family's tried to assault him and has protection order against him. The other guy stole everything from him. Lucky he's not in jail. But in the same sense, too, I mean, in all honesty, it wouldn't be a fun show if it was settled in a courtroom. You got to settle it with your fists. So that's also why I think that Kreese and Cobra Kai will win the Al Valley tournament in season 4 because why in the storyline if you don't have to? But that's once again, proud man speaks highly of the community, trying to teach young children martial arts, trying to help them better themselves. And he's once again just attacked by everyone's heroes. So that there, I've just explained to you why no one called the cops on him, and two, why he is the only sympathetic character of the show. Now, with that, I'd like you to hit like. I'd like you to hit subscribe. Really trying to get some subscribers up. I know I got to get better about making content. Lots of interviews up, lots more coming, hundreds to choose from. A lot of stuff to watch. Tell your friends. Click the description, click the like, visit the websites, check out the interview page. Like I said, like, subscribe, tell everybody. I'll be back with another video in just a couple days.